Hello and welcome. I'm Angela of Stamping Beauty in Christchurch, New Zealand, and today I'm sharing with you how I created this card for the Be Inspired blog hop. I'm using the Layers of Beauty stamp set, the dies and the masks, and also the sentiment is from the Country Flowers set. I've got the With Heartfelt Sympathy. And all the products I'm using today will be listed in the description box below and can be purchased via my online store. And if you live in New Zealand and would like a copy of the latest Stampin' Up catalogue, please contact me. I'd love to send you one. So to start with, I've just got a plain white card base. And then next I'm going to be doing this embossed layer. So I've got this another piece of basic white cardstock. I'm just going to pop it in the Eyelet 3D embossing folder. Just bring in my machine, put that in there, and run that through. And here it is. It's a beautiful folder. It gives you a really lovely design. So I'll pop that aside. While I've got this out, just put my cutting plates on. And for the wreath, I always find it easier to start with a circle. So I've got a piece of basic white cardstock and these two circle dies. I'm just going to pop those inside each other, or that one inside the other I should say, and it doesn't have to be perfect, it's not going to be seen, and just run that through. Pop that out of the way. And so we've got this circle here. So what I'm going to do now is pop this onto the card front. I always like to do things as I go, just keeps my desk reasonably tidy, and then I don't have, hopefully minimises losing things. Although that's not guaranteed. Just get those dimensionals on there. And that nice and straight, hopefully. It's a little bit forgiving when it's white on white, which is good. And then this, I'm going to, if you can see under here, it's raised up. So I'll just put some little mini dimensionals. And once again, these, doesn't matter, these won't be seen either. So if they go over the edge a little bit, it won't matter. And then just get that on sort of about there. So it's slightly nearer to the top. Hopefully roughly even. Then next what I want to do is I'm going to get these prepped so that we've got a bit of an idea where they're going to sit. So I've got a piece of white cardstock, and these have been embossed in gold. So I've got my stamp set, my stamp there, and my bit of foam, and a Versamark ink pad, and my embossing buddy, so I'll give that a good coat fruiting with that. And ink up my stamp. Stamp that down on there. I'm not going to be using it all today, but it doesn't hurt to tuck those little bit extra pieces away for use another day. And bring in my gold embossing powder. A good covering of that. Just have to constantly move it around just to get it all covered. And then I'm just going to heat emboss that, so I won't be a moment. Now I'm going to colour this using the stencils, so I want to line that up, and I'm just using these two images here with the little leaves that go with it, so I won't be needing to do it all at this time. So just place that on there, get it nicely lined up. And just add a little bit of ink. So I want these three here. And this little one here. And then over here, that's that twirly one there. That little one there. And this one here. Green on there, and then I'm going to bring in the next one. Just pop that over top of there so I can add the darker green. So what you can do is use a different green, or by adding just the extra on, it does create an extra layer of green to make it darker. You can see there, got that lovely shading. So that is all for that. It's so easy to do this and gives you such great results. So now I'm using Flirty Flamingo, and on there. There is this little nick in here that helps you, but I've created with this set so much. I just about know it like the back of my hand. So once again, so this time I want to just get that light layer down. So it's just these two here. And they're actually those little wee buds there. Just a lovely little layer there, and then here. And then another layer, so I'm going to get a bit more detail this time. See there, just building that up. And then lastly, this one here, I didn't clean it after I'd used it last time. But to clean it, super easy, just run it under the tap. But definitely clean it between uses. I just knew I was going to be doing this video, and so was using the same colour. So that's all that I need to do for that. And I'm going to use the die. So I've got the die for that. And then I'm going to trim it down a little bit. Just bring in my machine again. On there. Now what you can do is put a bit of tape on there. I just got a bit of washi tape, just because when you heat emboss, I do find that it changes, it makes the paper a little bit lumpy and bumpy, so it's not sort of sitting as flat as it would if I just stamped it. So I'll just add a bit of washi tape. There, over here. Then run that through. And just peel that off. Then what I want to do is cut those apart. So what I'm going to do is just cut around here. I always leave a little bit of gap from the edge of the flower. And I'm just going to go in here, cut that bit off, set that might come in handy for another project. And then come in here. And then here, if you can see under here, that's where I've tucked to the bow, and so I've just cut along there, so you can't see where that starts and finishes. So I'll just cut. I want to get as close as I can on this one here. So that's the one that's going to sit up there, and that one doesn't matter so much. Right, so we've got our pieces there. So what I'm going to do, and those I've just stuck straight onto here, and so just along there, and about, oh actually that does not need to be on there, I'll just cut that off. That's going to stick along there. So different ways of adding adhesive on here. You could put some glue on there ahead of time, before you pop it on here, like some, you know, if you did the stamp and seal, put that on. I'm just going to use glue because I like glue that I can, oops, that one's run out. Just add a bit of glue around here. It gives you a bit of time between you popping things under. I'm going to pop that there. And then what I've gone ahead and done is I've pre-cut 4 of these size ones. 4 of all of the different leaves in this die set. 4 of those, 4 of the little ones, and 4 of these ones here. So I didn't think you wanted to watch me do that, so I did that ahead of time. This one here, so I'm just, then what I'm going to do is just work my way around and tuck those in just to fill out the area and sort of work my way around. So just get these ones on first, so at least then if it starts like it is there, starts to dry, we've got a bit of leeway. That one there. Just giving a nice sort of subtle sort of curve, following the curve around there. And then now I can pop this one on here. Up there. And I've got on this side, I thought I'd use some of these different shaped ones. Just take that, work my way up. Getting a nice full sort of coverage in there. So it's just a matter of what sort of look you want to get, and then just tucking them in. Hopefully there's enough glue there. It's going to be covered up a bit with the bow anyway. You might not need all your bits and pieces depending on how you spread them around. They'll always come in handy for another project anyway. I always find it's always a nice wee find when you find some extra bits that you've cut. And maybe it's with that white on white, it's just nice to have a bit of fullness. That one's, I'll just put a bit of glue just on my mat. It's always a handy place because it just rubs off when you've finished with it. And then I've got one little piece, I might as well just tuck that in there. Oopsie. Oops, it doesn't want to let go. There we go. So that is my little wreath already made. So then next, what I've done too is a wink of celery. I added some that to flowers just to add a bit of sparkle, which you probably, I'm not sure if that will pick it up on here, but there is a little bit of sparkle on that. Just colour that over. Squeezed a bit hard then. Oh, it's definitely coming out now. Hopefully you can see that. definitely something in real life that makes a difference. Right, so that while that's drying a little bit there, I'm going to stamp the sentiment. So I've got this lovely sentiment, well, lovely script on this sentiment, which is with heartfelt sympathy, which is not something you necessarily want to be using, but unfortunately they do come in handy to have them. So I'm doing that in Versamark. And then in gold again to coordinate. Lots of lovely gold touches on this card. Actually, that doesn't matter too much because I am going to fussy cut that. Right, so I'll just heat set this, won't be a moment. And just give that a quick cut around. It's not too difficult. It's fairly straightforward. But if you don't like fussy cutting, I'm sure you could find a little die that would work for this. See, around there. And just like that. So that is going to sit about there. So I just want to do the bow, and I've done a lovely double bow, so I'll show you how to do that. We always call this a Tammy bow from Tammy Wilson. Does a lot of these on her cards. So just hold it there and just do your loop, how big you want it, and another loop there, and then a second loop, and then a second loop down here. And once you've got your loops, you just bring that around, and then while it's there, I just cut it about the same. It's not going to be needed as much, but I always like to do it just in case I have a little hiccup and I need it. And then I just put my finger through there and then pull it tight, because everything's connected. If you don't do that, it's all going to come apart. And then just you can move that around. You can sort of fiddle around with that to get it to how you want it to sit. And then that, I'll just trim that off. But then I'm just going to bring that back in. I'm just going to be careful I don't smudge that Wink of Stella until it's dry. Just going to get a glue dot, and I'm going to pop that on with the tweezers. About there. And sometimes you can end up fiddling with bows for ages, so I'll try not to do that. Sometimes they just do tend to have a mind of their own. As you can see, that's not lying flat. Once I get the sentiment on, so then what I'm going to do is pop that on here. Oh, that really... that's a bit better. I just need it to get them to go on their side a little bit. Actually, a little bit of tear and tape. might hold that down because of course underneath you're not going to see anything, so lots of hidden things under cards, I'm sure. So then I'm just going to pop a dimensional here and here. It's going to need another one on top of it just to get it nice and even. It does not want to stick down, I think, because that one Castella is still wet. I'll add a bit of glue if it's not going to stay down. So then get that and sit that on top there. So then now's a good time to have a wee faff if you want to. And pop a bit of glue under that. Hopefully that might get it to stay in place. Let's hold that for a moment. Well, sometimes what I tend to do is pop a block on it. Then I've got my hands free to do my next little bit, which is to add these metallic gems. Now these are from this set here. If you haven't seen these, they're gorgeous. Adhesive back metallic gems. So we've got sort of that coppery colour, the gold and silver. I'll use my take pick tool, and I want the bigger gold ones here. Just tuck that down there, and a small one here, and then I'll use a big one. And tuck that up there. And that is the card made. That's going to need a little bit more persuasion to stay down, but there we have it. That's my card. So I hope you enjoyed watching me create this card, and if you make one yourself, please tag me. I'd love to see yours. Thank you very much for watching, and see you again soon. Bye.